In this workshop, we're going to show you how to do all of that on your Android device, and then we'll also go through Docker afterwards. So if you want to follow along, please feel free, and if you have any questions, we will try to answer those at the end. So we're going to start by showing you how to check your seed phrase. So if you would like to open up the Minima app, Barry. Great, so this is the home screen. This is where you see all of your mini dApps. Then in the menu, you've got home page, and then you want to go to the Vault page. And this is where you'll be able to see your seed. So at the moment, we can see the status says unlocked. So your node is currently not encrypted with any passwords. If you click on the menu in the top right, you'll see the option to see your seed phrase. So these are your 24 words that you need to write down in the correct order, and never take a screenshot of these. You're not allowed to take screenshots in the app anyway, but don't take a photo, don't store it online, write it down and store it somewhere safe. And once you've done that,
the seed phrase is your private keys in human readable form. If anyone has access to your seed phrase, they will have access to your node and your funds. So it's very, very important that you secure them offline and make sure no one is overlooking you.
Yeah. So the seed phrase is obviously very important. However, with Minima, the easiest way to actually restore access to your node if you lose it is using a backup. So we'll go through that in a little bit. So the seed phrase is obviously essential for you to have. And once you've written it down, we recommend that you then encrypt this. And what that means...
Write it down, double check it, triple check it. When you're 100% sure you have the correct words written down, then it's time to password lock and encrypt.
Yes. So to encrypt it, you click on the Encrypt Private Keys button and enter a password. We don't recommend using symbols and special characters here. So we stick with upper lowercase and numbers.
It's important to bear in mind that the password you set should be a strong password. We recommend 12 to 16 characters. If you set a 4-letter password, someone could hack that with brute force within a few hours. If you set an 8-letter password, it might take a couple of days. 12 to 16 words will take multiple years, if not hundreds of years, to hack. So choose a strong password that you are going to remember.
I'm just going to cut in. Guys, I'm starting to see messages about verify, and this has nothing to do with the workshop. So if you want to ask questions, you can go to the English chat. This call is not for that. And just wanted also to say, we're currently showing the mobile version for all of this, but we will be showing the desktop version, right? So for those of you that are on a desktop, don't worry.
Okay, so Barry's locked his node now, which means that his seed phrase, his 24-word seed phrase has been encrypted. And that means that he can no longer see it if he goes there. So anyone, if they were to get your phone, would not be able to see your seed phrase. And they would also not be able to send any funds from the wallet. So when you want to send funds from your node, you will either need to decrypt your private keys from here before sending, or in the wallet, there is an option to input your Vault password when you want to make a transaction. So you can do either options there.
It's important to remember also that if you forget your password or lose your password, and you can restore your node with your seed phrase. However, if you forget your password or lose your password and you do not have your seed phrase, you will not be able to reset this password. You will be in trouble. The seed phrase is everything. The password simply encrypts that seed phrase.
Must write down your password because we can't restore that for you. This is a decentralized system, so there's no support that you can go to if you cannot remember your Vault password. So it's up to you whether you want to do it. Obviously, it's an additional security feature, so it's your choice. So once you've encrypted it, if you wish to, then it's a good idea to take a backup of your node. If you don't encrypt it, then you take a backup. If someone were to get your backup, then you will also put a password on your backup as well. So that's 2 separate passwords. So if we now go to the backup and restore page, and you can read what it says there, but taking a backup is very important. You're the only one who looks after your coins. We recommend taking a backup at most once every month, so not longer than 1 month, because your proofs to your coins are changing with the blockchain. So with each new block, you need to be keeping up. You need to be keeping up to date with the blockchain. So that's why once a month maximum. And so if we click on make a backup, again, type in a password. This is different to the password that we use for Vault. And again, we don't recommend using special characters because some may not work. So yeah, retyping the same password, and then it will prompt you to choose somewhere to save that. So for example, we can save it to your Google Drive and give it a name that you recognize. Great, so then you will have a backup in your Google Drive account.
I think it's worth mentioning here that, minimalists rely on no one to do anything. We all take full responsibility for every part of the chain and everything we do in running the chain. Having local backups that you keep yourself is good practice. It means you don't need to rely on anyone else to help you restore. However, if you don't have a backup and you have a backup that's older than 2 months and you do need to recover your node, if you've lost your phone or whatever happens, you can recover your node with your seed phrase. This is why it's so important. The seed phrase will log on to archive nodes that we are running right now. We expect other members of the community to be running them themselves, but in some ways you are relying on someone else for those archive nodes. So having a backup is good practice for yourself. It means you don't need to rely on anyone else. However, there is a safety net should you not have a backup.
Yeah, exactly. The backup is the easiest way. As Barry said, if you don't have a backup, then you'll need to connect to an archive node to do that. So you're, again, relying on someone else to run that for you, unless you want to start your own archive node, which is possible. And there are instructions in the docs if you would like to do that. So to restore from a backup, we simply do the same thing in reverse. You enter the password of the backup that you want to restore, and then you'll be asked to select the backup that you want to restore from your phone, and then Minima will shut down automatically, and then you will need to reopen it and it will restore. And the best way to check that it has restored is, so you can see that it's locked still after the restore. So we can just unlock that with the Vault password and check the seed phrase again. So it's also obviously extremely important that you remember the password that you used for your backup, because obviously if you don't know that, then you can't restore that backup. Okay, so if you find yourself in the position where you don't have a backup or your backup is too old, then you will need to do the seed resync from an archive node. So we can do that in a moment. So from the archive page, there's two options here. So the first, the option at the top is a chain resync, and we'll cover that in a moment, but we're going to be doing the seed phrase resync or showing you how to do the seed phrase resync from an archive node. So again, if you don't have a backup or it's too old, then you would have to start a new node. So you'd have to download the new Minima. You'd have to download the app from the Play Store, install that on your phone so you've got a fresh node. And then you need to get the seed phrase from your old node, and you would enter the 24 words here, one word at a time. So you enter one word and then press done on your keyboard after each one, so it's submitted on the row below. So at the moment, we are running some archive nodes that you can automatically connect to if you really need to. If you have a server, then you can run an archive node on there, because that will have an external IP address that you can connect to. So in the next step, we'll show you how you can connect to your own archive node that's running on a server. Okay, so once you've put in your seed phrase, you can set the max keys uses. So you can leave that as at 1000. This would be because you shouldn't reuse your private keys. So the node will automatically only use them once. If you're doing the seed phrase resync, then you need to tell it roughly how many times you have transacted. So 1000 is the default. If you think you've done more than that, you can put a higher number. So we can do seed phrase complete. And now you can leave auto to sync from one of our archive nodes, or if you have your own, you can put in the IP and port number of that archive node. As an example here. And now it will resync from scratch. So the whole wallet will be regenerated from your 24-word seed phrase. You can see it's creating the keys now. And by default, everybody has 64 public-private key pairs, which is also why you have 64 default addresses. So you may have noticed in the wallet that each time you go to the receive page, you see a different wallet address. And that's because it's randomly choosing one of your 64 wallet addresses. And we've noticed that a lot of you have also noticed when you're requesting to withdraw your rewards, that you see the withdrawal address isn't matching what you see in the wallet. And again, that's because both of those are randomly one of your 64 default addresses. So don't be alarmed if your withdrawal address doesn't match what you see in the wallet. We are actually going to be releasing a new version of the wallet either today or tomorrow, which will allow you to check that your withdrawal address is indeed from your node. So that's just a nice little feature that you'll be able to use. And so here you can see what it's doing is actually talking to the archive node, and it's downloading all of the blocks from the archive node. So the archive node does not get pruned, which means that it stores the full chain of blocks, whereas on the mobile devices, on any other node that's not an archive node, you're storing the last almost 24 hours or so of blocks, and then the chain gets pruned. So this is why sometimes if you've been offline for too long, you might not be able to resync to the chain because you might be missing some blocks. So this is what the archive nodes are help with if you've been offline for too long and you can't resync. For example, if your backup's too old. So you can see it going through the blocks now. So we're currently on just gone block 81,000 from 1st of March.
So just to talk to Jasmine's last point, if your node has been offline for an extended period of time, but everything's good with it, it's still your node, it's got your keys, etc., etc., there's no need to do a full seed phrase resync. You can simply just resync to the chain with your existing details.
Yeah. Okay, so it's finished resyncing and then it shuts down. And that now it should be a fresh install. So the seed phrase remains the same. I think we've lost our mini dApps because of the sync, but that's okay. We'll show you how to install mini dApps, which is also very straightforward. So shall we just cover the chain resync quickly? So if we go back to the archive page, if you haven't, so you only really need to do the seed phrase resync if you've completely lost access to your node. So say you lose your phone and you only have your seed phrase, then you would have to start up a new node and then resync using your seed phrase. But if you still have...
If your node's been offline for an extended period and you're on block 100,000, but the current block is 200,000, for example, you're well behind the chain and you won't catch up automatically. At that point, you'd need to just do a chain resync.
yeah, so you've still got access to your node. Just do a chain resync and the process is the same. You select auto to connect to one of our default archive nodes. And so the difference again with that is your wallet won't be wiped if you do the chain resync. So you only need to do the seed phrase if you've completely lost your node. Cool. Yes, that's a good one to show. So if you go to the health page, you can see which block you're on, and the time above it is the time of that block, and that should always be very close to your current time. You may have to wait a few minutes after the archive resync to sync to the tip of the chain. So just give it a few minutes. And then
Oh my god.
you can set your maximum name.
So there's a lot of questions in chat. Sorry, Jazz. There's a lot of questions in chat.
Yeah.
I've been trying to answer. So you don't need to do the seed phrase resync to claim your rewards. Let's just be clear. This is only necessary if you lose access to your node, and you've got your seed phrase, and you want to, get your node back. Then you will need to do a resync.
Okay, I think the point that needs to be drummed home here is, for the last couple of years, everyone's been on testnet, where all the rewards have been stored off-chain and linked to your Incentive Cash account, which is linked to your password and email. Obviously, on testnet, we had lots of issues. People got into the culture of, if there was an issue with their node, rather than trying to fix it, we would uninstall and reinstall. What that does is create a completely new node. So here on mainnet, we're trying to change the culture. You download a node, that node is your node. You store the seed phrase, it's unique to your node. You will then link your node to the payouts or to the payout app, and the payouts will come to your node. If you were to uninstall and reinstall and not resync with that seed phrase, it would be a completely different node, and the funds would not come there. This is the point we're trying to make. You install a mainnet node, you secure that seed phrase, that's going to be your forever node now. Obviously you can make a new one, but if you link it to the payouts contract, the funds will be sent to that node. So this is the point we're trying to make.
Yeah. Someone said, is it important to activate Vault, or should we just leave it unlocked? Well, we recommend encrypting your keys. Obviously, you need to make sure that you remember that password that you use, because if you don't remember that password, then you won't be able to decrypt it, and then you won't be able to send any funds anywhere.
But if you have the seed phrase, you can always recover the node and you can always reset the password. The seed phrase is the most important thing. I don't want to bang on about it, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it is. Okay, great. So we've covered how to see your seed phrase, how to take a backup, how to encrypt and decrypt your private keys, and how to restore your backup. So let's show you now how to install a mini dApp. So for example, if you'd like to install the incentive rewards mini dApp, where you can request withdrawal of your reward. So go to the dApp store page from the menu. This is the live dApp store where we update the latest mini dApps. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be releasing a new version of the wallet. And when we announce that, you'll be able to come here and you'll be able to see that the new wallet has been updated. So we've updated it now to add the incentive program rewards. So when you click on that, you'll download it to your phone's download folder, like Barry's just done there. And then you need to come back to the home page where the rest of your mini dApps are, and you just click on that plus button, and then you'll find it in your downloads folder. So you might have to change folders exactly, and then you just select it there. So what we've noticed sometimes is that for some reason the phone wants to unzip the file. Don't unzip it. Just go back to the home page and upload it.
I think some versions of Android, when they download such a file, might add a .zip to the end as well. So make sure it's correctly labelled. But again, do not unpack.
Yeah, and don't try to open it from your phone's files either. You have to be in the Minima app on the home page and install it from there. Okay, so once you've installed it on the home page, just click on it to open it, and then you'll be able to log in to your Incentive Rewards account. So this is the email address that you use during testnet to collect rewards, and it should be available again now, Barry. So if you want to try and log in. So lots of people today have been seeing invalid email messages pop up when they try to log in, and I'm told that should be resolved now. So let's see. So many people trying to do everything at the same time. Just to remind you that there is no rush to do this. Distribution won't begin until the 21st of March. Maybe there are still some server issues in the background. Okay, so it looks like we can't log in still. That's unfortunate, but we do have a video, so if you go to YouTube, you'll be able to see all of the different paths that will happen. So you should just see a withdrawal page where you'll see your total rewards and your withdrawal address, and then you could just click on request withdrawal, and that's all you have to do. Just wait until the 21st of March when the distribution will begin. Okay, just checking some questions.
Yeah, okay, we're okay. There's a lot of messages, there's a lot of traffic in the chat. Sorry guys, I can't really answer. Discord is badly set up, so it's making it more difficult for me to answer quickly. Just gonna go over some. Jasmine, there's one that I saw, I don't know the answer to. Is the last security update applied? Previously, if you started to enter seed phrase one by one, the next right word was suggested in the T9 line. You aware of this, Jazz?
So we did make some changes to the form where you enter the seed phrase. So there was a problem where it wouldn't submit the word, and so we fixed that now. So as long as you do each word individually, you enter a word and click enter, then there should be no problems. We did do a few changes to that, so I'm sure your issue will be resolved now.
Just to go over, I'm seeing these questions a lot, but first of all, to claim your rewards, you don't need to have your seed phrase. You don't need to have your backup. In the sense that it's not necessary, but it is necessary if you want to make sure that your node is safe, that if you lose your node, you will still have your rewards. Now, going over that, if you don't want to make backups, you don't have to make backups. You can just save your seed phrase. But we recommend that you make a backup because it's much easier to use. There's no need to ask this question, 100 times in the chat. It's quite clear. You're responsible for your node. So you decide how you want to secure it, if you want to secure it.
Yeah. Withdrawal address showing automatically and it's verified how. So when you log in to the payout mini DApp, to the incentive reward mini DApp where you request to withdraw, it will automatically get one of your wallet addresses from your node. So one of your 64 default ones will automatically be got from your node. So you don't need to worry that that address is wrong, because the mini DApp will automatically run the command in the background to pull one of your addresses.
It's okay, Control Alt Delete. I like your name. Just going over. So I don't know if everybody can see the video in the audience, but if you can't, make sure you're watching. Obviously, you need the visual support. Yes, you can do this on mobile. We just went over it. In fact, I think we're gonna move over to the desktop explanation, right, Jasmine?
Yeah.
Or is
So
there
Barry
anything
did kindly create a video on mobile this morning, and that will be up soon. Should be later today, if not tomorrow. So the video that's currently on YouTube does show the desktop version. The only difference is the process of actually installing the app, which we've just shown you. I see a very nice comment as well. This is really cool. I love Minima. I believe this will go far as it's got such an amazing opportunity behind it, and so many blockchain companies want to be part of this. Very well done to Minima developers. Thank you so much, Streetwise. Okay.
So I think
Well,
just to recap what we've gone over so far here today, the most important thing you can do to look after and secure your funds is to save your seed phrase. This is key. Save it offline. Don't share it with anyone. Once you're sure it is saved, and it's the most important thing, then encrypt your seed phrase with a strong password. You can always get your node back, even if you forget that password, if you have the seed phrase. If you set a password and do not have the seed phrase and then forget that password, it's going to be a problem. Make regular backups. Your backups are your friend. They are you taking responsibility for yourself and relying on nobody else. Keep them on your phone, upload them to the cloud in case you lose your device and don't have access to them locally. If your node is offline for an extended period of time, if it's a few weeks, you can restore from your recent backup. If it's less than a month or two old, if it's more than a month or two, then you'll have to do a chain resync. If you lose your device completely and need to recover your node from a new device or want to move it to a different device, then recover with your seed phrase. Do a full seed phrase archive recovery.
For those who didn't hear this, I'm seeing another question about this. Yes, you have 64 wallet addresses, okay, and they change randomly every few minutes, I believe, Jazz. And so the wallet address you will see on your request to withdraw will not be the same as the one that you will see in your wallet mini DApp. Okay, this is normal. Another one was, can we change the address that we're claiming to? No, so once you've requested to withdraw, you cannot change the address. It's being, it's going to your node, which is why you need to make sure that you at least have your seed phrase. If once you have your seed phrase, you can recover your node at any point in time. Backups are even easier. It's a file that you download that you can put on a USB key. You can send it to, you can share it over to your phone or any other device. Ideally, we recommend encrypting your backups, because if anybody get a hold of them, they can just basically take control of your node. It's really simple.
Only make backups with a password locked node as well, because if someone gets access to your backup and the node is unlocked, they will have access.
Yeah. See, someone says mathematics. What if I don't have if I don't have a backup and you don't have a seed phrase, then it's game over, I'm afraid. So
Maybe crypto is not for you. You know, the seed phrase is 101. It's the same across every chain. It's the most important thing. We're a decentralized network. You rely on nobody else. You have to be responsible. So looking after the keys to your strong box is important. If you had a box full of money, you wouldn't leave the keys on the windowsill, would you? You'd keep them secure and safe. It's just the same.
So, Brown Pinkwater, it's fine if you have your backups on your Google Drive, but make sure, as Barry just stated, that your node is locked with a password. That means if anybody gets a hold of your backup, they can't use it unless they know the password that you chose, right?
And also,
I'm just
just
looking
to
at the
say,
questions.
if you haven't requested withdrawal yet, and you're wondering if you need to reconnect an old node that you had, don't worry. If you haven't requested withdrawal, then just start a new node, go through what we've done today, write down your seed phrase, make sure you know how to take a backup, make sure you know how to encrypt and decrypt, and then request withdrawal. So only start the withdrawal process once you're sure that your node is set up and secured and you're comfortable with it.